Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and today we are going to take a look at AI's dream team, in other words the highest predicted points team for game week 2. Now as usual, we're not going to have any budget limitation here. We are going to see if AI can maximize the points in game week 2 for all these players. The predicted points for this team is 67.1 and the formation is a 4-5-1. So that's pretty interesting because the template is mostly a 3-5-2, but currently in this particular draft that AI has created for game week 2 specifically, it does expect defenders to do pretty well this game week. So we'll take a look at the players in a bit. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and if you do, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. So in goal, we're going to start off with Ederson, who plays Newcastle at home. He is the keeper with the highest predicted points for this week at 3.8 predicted points. Now, this may turn some heads because Newcastle just scored 5 goals against Aston Villa, but Man City are playing at home, and of course, their defense is one of the best in the league. Now, the thing is, Ederson is still the keeper that in our heads is a little bit risky when it comes to not conceding many shots on target, but then letting in that sloppy goal, etc. So a lot of us have that connotation of Ederson in our minds, but based on AI's prediction, Newcastle at home at the Etihad, it does expect AI does expect Newcastle to not be able to put a goal past Ederson, and probably that's why there is a 3.8 predicted points as well. I would expect Newcastle to be able to test the Man City defense a little bit as well. So in that sense, maybe Ederson could pick up a couple of save points as well. Now, in defense, we have Robertson, Trent, Chilwell, and Estupiñán. One look and we already see a double Liverpool defense here. So their defense, as we saw against Chelsea, is definitely not watertight. But at Anfield against Bournemouth, you would expect both of these fullbacks to do really well. Trent especially because he's in that inverted fullback role as well. So he has that slight edge over a Robertson. So 5.6 for Trent, 5.1 for Robertson. But I do expect clean sheets for both these players, both these Liverpool players, and I do expect Liverpool to bounce back from that draw against Chelsea and get a good result at Anfield against Bournemouth. So I do agree with AI on this one. And the other two players in defense is Ben Chilwell and Estupiñán. Now, covering both of them together, actually, we do know from game week 1 already that both of them are super attacking. Chilwell especially, his average position is pretty much in the attacking third of the opponent's team, right? So basically, if we take a look at the average position and also the stats that Chilwell is putting up, the number of crosses, the number of shots he's taking, I think 4.6 predicted points is actually pretty low for him. You would expect that if he continues to perform in the way that he is doing so against West Ham away, you would fully expect him to outscore 4.6 as well. Same goes for Estupiñán, Wolves away, and 5.1 predicted points for Estupiñán is also pretty low because, as we know, he is a very attacking fullback, and easily in game week 1 he could have had more than the number of points that he got. He got 7 points in game week 1, but actually he should have gotten so much more assists as well, right? So there we go with the defense. Let's now take a look at the midfield that AI has for us. So in midfield, it's a midfield 5 of Salah, Marcus Rashford, Martinelli, Solly March, and Bukayo Saka. So covering Mo Salah first, 6.3 predicted points. Surprisingly, he is not the midfielder with the highest predicted points this game week. That actually goes to Saka at 6.5 predicted points. But of course, Mo Salah at home, and looking at how sharp he was in the first half of the Chelsea game, I know in the second half, Liverpool did die out a little bit in their attack, and they did not have as much possession and attacking threat in the second half. But based on what they did in the first half, if they were able, or if they are able to replicate that against Bournemouth at Anfield, which you would think that given the fans backing them at their home stadium, the first game of the season at Anfield, you would expect Liverpool to sweep them away. Salah, of course, is the player that you would expect to be in amongst the returns for Liverpool. And of course, it is slightly concerning that he was subbed off at the 76th minute against Chelsea. But looking at what Klopp said after the match, he actually said that there was nothing wrong with Salah at all. He just felt like that particular game against Chelsea required some fresh legs, and that's why he took Salah off and subbed on some younger players as well, right? So I do fully expect Salah to start, and of course against Bournemouth at home, on penalties, etc. You know the drill with Salah. He actually should have gotten so much more points in game week 1, and as an owner of Salah, I am slightly a little bit salty, but I do expect that in game week 2 he would come good and repay the faith. So he is actually going to be my captain in game week 2. I will discuss that a little bit more in my team selection video, but Salah 6.3 predicted points here by AI. Now Marcus Rashford as well, Tottenham away 5.6 predicted points. You would expect Marcus Rashford playing in that centre forward position against a Tottenham defense that isn't that great at all. Tottenham's attack is pretty good, but their defense is just where they are so leaky, and that's where they concede goals as well. So I fully expect Marcus Rashford to be in and amongst the returns for Manchester United. Now for the two Arsenal players, they play Crystal Palace away. Now that is definitely not the easiest fixture out there, but Arsenal's attack does look pretty fluid. Now defensively, in their first game against Nottingham Forest, they did look a little shaky, but I did feel like attackingly, in that sense, they did look really good, right? Flowy attacks in their passes were really good and sharp as well. So against Crystal Palace, even though it is a tougher opposition than Nottingham Forest for sure, I still do expect Arsenal to win against Crystal Palace, of course, and get a couple of returns for their attackers. So Martinelli 5.7, Saka 6.5. You fully expect both of them to at least match these predictions by AI, right? And Solly March, of course, preferred by AI to Mitoma because of the positions he's taking up. He is actually more central in that penalty box, but Mitoma is slightly wider and kind of the assist provider as well, not taking as many shots as Solly March. So against Wolves away, 5.2 predicted points for Solly March, and he completes this midfield 5. So let me know what you think of these 5 midfielders. Who do you think AI is missing out, who could actually score more points than these players that you see here? But let's now take a look at the forward. So up front is none other than Haaland, who already bagged the brace in his first game against Burnley. He actually scored in the first 4 minutes already, and he completed that game with a brace against Burnley. So looking really sharp, and Haaland actually has 6.8 predicted points in game week 2, which is of course the highest out of all the players in FPL for game week 2 by AI. And surprisingly, 0.5 predicted points higher than Salah, even though he has the worst fixture. So personally, I will be tempted to still captain Salah if I had him, and I do have him. So stay tuned for the team selection video where I will probably be captaining Salah. But based on what AI is saying, AI does expect Haaland to still outperform Salah even though he has Newcastle at home. So that will be pretty interesting. I'll be going against AI this week, it seems. So let's see how this works out. But for now, this is the 4-5-1 team that AI has recommended that will score the most points. Of course, unlimited budget, so basically it is unattainable to have all these players in your team. But as I mentioned, this particular series is for you to kind of take a look at who are the defenders, the midfielders, and the forwards that will be scoring really well, and see how many of these players you actually have in your teams. And as I've mentioned, if you have at least about 5 to 6 players from this team every single game week of this series, you would actually do pretty well, because DraftHound's predictions are pretty accurate as I followed them throughout the whole of last season. So let me know what you guys think of this team, as well as how many players you have from this team. I'll be keen to know in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here, and I will catch you guys in more game week 2 content very soon. Bye bye.